So the final step is we need to update the app when we do get this information, and we can do that by using a FutureBuilder. So let's go to our main, and right here, let's wrap all of this in a FutureBuilder. And now we'll assign that future we just created, theme preferences dot get theme. So this is the future that we're awaiting. And we also need to pass in some initial data. So while we're awaiting this data, our initial data will be false by default. And we also need to replace this child with a builder that has a context and snapshot. And that snapshot will give us access to the data that we want. I'm going to right click and convert this to a block body also. Okay, cool. So we have our future set up. So when we have the data, this builder will rerun with that information. So we need to create an if statement. If snapshot has data, so in that case we know the user's preferences. And here we'll update our preferences using our theme provider. And that way we'll still have a logical flow where everything still flows through our theme provider. Okay, so if we do have data, then we want to use provider of theme provider set theme snapshot, and now we want to pass in the data, so true or false, and this is giving us an error. And to fix that, we'll cast this as a bool using the as keyword because we know the data is of type bool. So when we have the data is ready from our future, we will then call provider and update our theme, and the builder method will rebuild this widget with that new information. Now also, to avoid an error, we'll set listen to false, and because we're using a context here in provider, we need to wrap this in a add post frame callback. So at that point in time, we will have an instance of a build context. And to avoid this error, I'll add the null aware operator. Alright, awesome. So just to recap, we have our future builder, and the future we're awaiting is the get theme method. So when we get that information using shared preferences, our future builder will rebuild and call provider updating our theme. And then when we get that information, we know our user's preference, our builder will run and provider will update our theme by calling set theme, and we'll pass in that data. Okay, awesome. So let's give this a run. Hot restart. Okay, awesome. So we were in dark theme and we are in dark theme now still. Now let's change back to light theme. Let's do a hot restart. And we're in light theme. Let's change back to dark theme. Do a hot restart. Cool, and we immediately go back to our dark theme. So we have one small problem, and that is our switch button is not syncing up. So our switch button, even though we're in dark theme, is showing that we're in light theme. Let's fix that switch button so it's in sync with what it should be when the app's restarted. We'll go to our settings page, and here we can see that there is a mix of set state and provider, so we only need to use provider. So I'm going to delete the set state here, and we can just use provider for our state management. So what we can do is wrap the switch list tile in a consumer from provider, and now we'll access the theme provider object, and we'll change the child to a builder. Update this to a block body so we can write in some code here. And now we can write isSwitched is equal to the isDark property in our theme provider. And now let's run that. So we're in our dark theme, go to settings, and you can see there that was on. Let's test it one more time, do a restart, simulate the app being restarted. We're in dark theme and the switch is turned on. Okay, cool. So in fact, we can just cut this and paste it down here. And we don't even need this to be a stateful widget anymore. So I can delete here and update this to a stateless widget. And now if we run one more time, we go into dark mode and our switch is turned on. Okay, awesome. Now there is one small issue, and that's when the app starts, we can see that it starts in light always and then goes to dark, and that's because we're awaiting our future. So we could cover that up by maybe having a black screen for half a second, but I think just for simplicity purposes, we'll just keep it how it is. Okay, awesome. So we now have our themes in this app being able to be updated really quickly and easily. In the next video, we'll flip our tiles around by adding in some animation.